Hey Nicole, it's me, Ognaj. I'm doing some important business. While I'm away, go up to floor 4 and go to the door labeled fitting room. There we'll have you customize your own portal watch. Have fun, and when you're done, head back to my office. I'll probably be back by then. Hey guys, Ognajteff here, and welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Civilization Challenge, where we're on the road to the Old Kingdom. So, last episode, we built ourselves sort of our starting little area. We got ourselves a nice little house. We got ourselves this not-so-little farm. So, today's episode, moving just straight off from there, we're going to be building up a brickworks facility just over here, and then a granary, probably just over here. The idea being, one place stores the grain, the other place, alongside the digging up of mud, will turn that grain plus mud into bricks. And with that, we can then start building the rest of the village en masse. So, the way we're going to be dividing this episode up is, part 1 will be building up the granary, part 2 will be all about building up those bricks. So with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need for the building of this granary is... where did I put them? There they are. All sorts of mud and mud bricks. Because the thing with a granary is, or granary, however you say it, it is just a raised structure which you use to house grain. A granary can actually just about look like anything and be just about done in any fashion, although in this case what I'll be doing is I'll be building a couple silo-like structures followed by a storage pit. Now the structures that are the silo-like ones, those will actually be for the grain. The storage pit will just be about any miscellaneous things, like, for example, all the sand we've got from last episode. Alright, so let's see. We're probably going to want... just a simple circle. There we go. And a 3... a 2, and 1. Huh. Already done for me. I guess all that's left is boop, boop. There we go. Storage, or granary building number 1, complete. So a granary is something that's a little weird. I called it a silo earlier. It's not. The pits we're going to be building alongside these will be the silos. A granary is just a building built above ground for the use of storing grain. A silo is a pit dug into the ground for the purpose of storing grain. Effectively, exact same purpose, exact same thing, just slightly different construction-wise. So that's going to be our first one, very simple. I'll probably add some decorations. Maybe some windows or something on the top floor, and then add some leaves or wool or something to the bottom floor. But first, we need to get done with storage granary building number 2. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, there we go. Whoop, not quite done. Looks like my crippling addictions are starting to delay my work. No matter. Boom and boom. There. Now we're done. incongruency? No, alongside. There we go. The other one. There we go. And we are also going to go with some height differencing. Different heights. My goodness, the English language seems to be eluding me today. Different heights, so that way we get a little bit of a different profile on the various buildings. And now, all we need to do is build up the insides. So we're going to set up some torches just to light the place. We're going to set up some just simple floors, same wood we used for the other buildings. By other buildings, I mean the one other building at my house. There we go. Might as well have something be a little consistent. And there we go. And after this, it's just the roof. There we go. And the roof, it appears we are out of materials. And that's with me scavenging some spares off of there. Okay, well, this is just more proof we need to get that brickyard done. So in the meantime, I'll add in some things here, just for the windows. And may as well decorate the place on the way down. So, purpose of this place is to store grain, so let's store grain. There we go. And last floor. Done. There we go. And we should also add in whoops. Appears I already had a spare, so boom, boom. And boom. There we go. Huh. I guess I've been getting a little bit more work done than I thought I did. Alright, so the top two floors of the granary are done. Next up is the storage pit we're going to use that'll be built about here. And this one is going to be quite simple. It's just a 3-wide pit into the sand with a bit of a tent or a tarp or, well, I guess tent, yeah, stretched over the top. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's make this 11 for the sake of making things all line up. And then, whoop, wrong one. Boop. There we go. And just hollow out the center a bit. So the idea with this being, the ancient Egyptians would have been the ones to store grain underground. The Nile Valley, with the exception of the areas that flood, is so dry that you're able to just store things underground and things just won't desiccate, won't rot. However, in most other ancient cultures, Sumerian, Indus, Chinese, Mesoamerican, you'd have more something like this. Just tall grain storage areas, just built into a barn or built into just a structure wherein you can keep the grain off the bottom floor where animals could pick at it, or you can have various flies, fleas, rats, or just flooding from water. And because we're sort of role-playing on a floodplain here, we'd want to keep the grain as far away from the water as possible. And because we're on a bit of a rise, I think that still makes us above water level here. Yes, that would still make us above the water level. This should still be acceptable here. And for the sake of space, I'll widen this out one. Just something like that. And then I have to check to make sure we have the wool necessary to put on top of this. If not, I guess I shall go find some sheep. Let's see. Do we have the wool? And this is why we need a storage pit. Am I blind? Oh, wait. Okay, we have some wool, but not enough to really be able to do anything. So, I guess, I'll be right back in just a moment. Now, I just took a quick break from collecting wool and various other supplies to just fix up the ceiling here for all of the people out there with OCD. Even though I doubt anyone will actually watch this video. Who knows? Who knows? Someone might. There we go. For your sake and mine. Okay, so assuming I did the math correctly, I should have enough wool. I'll probably just cut down a couple extra trees here for the sake of grabbing some wood. And then we should have everything we need. Let's see. Is there any spare logs in there? No? Okay. I have an axe. Why am I punching this? Anyway. That should do for now. No. One more. There we go. That should be enough now. So the way I'm going to do this is... Well, start with that for now. Ow. So let's see. Boom. And do that, just clean across the whole way, alternating between orange and white. There we go. That way there's a little bit of a splash of color. Whoops. Splash of color along the body. Whoops, there we go. Of the structure. Okay, so the answer is yes and no. I have enough wool. I don't have enough orange dye. And I've just about picked every flower in the area. Wait. Wait, nope. That is not a flower. Wait, is that a flower? Off in the distance? I see yellow. Yep, that's a flower. Okay, good. I don't think I need any more than the one, so that should be enough. And boop, boop. There we go. That should be enough for our purposes. So, all we need to do now is fill up the storage tent / storage pit with some chests and some support beams. Let's see, anything else for this sort of complex area I've got? I've got fencing, I've got this area here, done. I seem to have extended one out. There we go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait. That should line up. But, oh, wait, yeah, because I've overextended one. It'll be fine. That's not going to bug me, I swear. Okay. So it turns out I did have enough orange dye the whole time. We are just going to ignore that. We're going to keep a hold of this so that way when we need it next. And boop, 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 and boop. There we go. All we need now are some chests. And thankfully, there's a crafting bench right in here for that express purpose. There we go. I can use one more. Well, this one's not being used for anything yet. But by the time it does need to be used, we can fill it up. There we go. So this area here can act as our grain storage and just some miscellaneous goods storage, I think. So I'll have to figure out what I'm storing in here, and whether or not this is going to be the main storage of my entire base, or if it's going to be just more of a specialty storage, or just a generic storage, and have a more specialized one later elsewhere. But yes, there we go. That is part 1 of this video done. We just need to move on to the next portion, which would be the brickyard. What? Hey, in my defense, you took a while, okay? I finished half the episode already. Now, come on, we got the time-lapse stuff to do. And don't give me that look. While we work away at the brickyard, I figure it would be appropriate to explain why I'm building the structure in the first place. Unlike the storage provided by the granary or a food yield to the crops, this building is primarily for roleplay reasons. In the ancient world, the vast majority of structures were made of wood, mud, or both. Although Egypt is famous for its carved stone tombs, palaces, and temples, these would have been far too expensive for the average citizen to afford. Furthermore, large quantities of wood were a luxury in Egypt. Thus, it was important to use materials that were easy to collect and cheap to assemble in large numbers. For Egypt, this was mud, straw, and clay. One of the oldest construction methods for housing in the world is called wattle and daub, which has been used for a minimum of 6,000 years around the globe. The method used is a lattice of interwoven sticks to create a base that is supported by wooden beams or pillars. Then on top of the wooden lattice, mud, clay, manure, or other such substances is layered repeatedly until the dried remains form a solid wall. In Egypt, this style was used by the Merimde culture of Lower Egypt, whose position on the Nile Delta provided a greater supply of wood and mud. A second type of housing is pise or rammed earth, which is when you pack damp earthen materials into a mold that shapes the material into a single continuous slab of earth as it dries out. Buildings constructed in this style are often built in layers so that as one layer is completed, the next layer can be built directly on top of it. And while this style is present across Eurasia, it is most famous for its usage in China, such as in country homes or sections of the Great Wall. However, if you take the pise and wattle and daub methods and combine them, you would get adobe or mud bricks. Adobe, meaning mud bricks, is made from some form of earthen material like mud, clay, or manure, as well as straw molded into a brick for use in building. These bricks were comparatively mass-producible and thus very efficient for building strong walls for structures as needed. Interestingly, the word itself is Spanish, but the root, which I'm going to butcher here, dobut, something around those lines, is ancient Egyptian in origin, as the word they used for brick, which was later carried on to the Coptic and Arabic languages. Furthermore, mud brick architecture was primarily a means of construction in Egypt since its invention during the early Naqada period, which this first village is actually supposed to represent. As you can see, with the build itself serves no mechanical purpose, thematically, it's representative of the main building style used in this series, or at least the first part of it. While the stone pyramids were larger and lasted longer, Egypt as a civilization was built upon mud, straw, and eventually, some plaster. And we are done. There we go. So as you can see, we got our brickyard all nice and done. Just ignore the pillar there. Let's see what we've got. So, first off, and most obviously, we got ourselves our giant trench. Giant being relative, of course. So, this is where we extract all the nice dirt and mud from, which we then bring up here and dry into the hardened clay. Or hardened mud, I should say. And this right here is just rooted mud, which is the mangrove roots and mud. There's actually a mangrove swamp vaguely in that direction. So, technically speaking, I can go just get mud directly, although the brickyard, like I said, is more of a thematic building anyway. Over here, we have our molds for our brick making, and we got a small pile of bricks. And this half of the structure is our actual workshop, complete with some water for actually turning the dirt into mud. Some straw. And on this side, we have our big crane for carrying things up and down the platforms. That's the word, platforms. And then we finally have our donkey, which we have to name, although I don't have a name tag yet. So I have to find a name tag, and then I'm going to name this donkey. Not these guys again. Ugh. That's what I thought. Anyway. So, yeah, I guess we can take down the platform. Nicole's already off editing the first little bit of the footage, so I don't think she'll miss this very much. Anyway. I think this is actually the perfect place to say farewell for now. We've done both of the structures I wanted to do today. One is a literal storage silo slash granary. And the other one is our more role-playing structure of the brickyard. So, this actually leaves us with a predicament. What to build next? Because a single house, not a village, make. So we're going to need to build up a few housing. I'm pretty sure of that much. Maybe a market square, maybe a temple, or maybe I should expand across the river. And with that, I guess I will see you guys all next time. This has been Ognajteff, and thank you for watching The Road to the Old Kingdom. See you guys all next time.